You can feel perfectly fine for years until one routine scan shows your liver or lungs look like a honeycomb. This isn't science fiction. It's Echinococcus, often nicknamed a parasitic cancer because it grows quietly, slowly, and relentlessly for 5 to 30 years. Today, I'm going to walk you through what it is, how people in the US can encounter it, what symptoms to watch for, how modern medicine treats it, and 5 simple habits that dramatically lower your risk. Stick with me to the end for a printable checklist you can put on your fridge. Now, you might be thinking, isn't this a problem somewhere far away? Not exactly. While large outbreaks have been documented in other parts of the world, exposure routes exist globally, including here in the United States. The parasite's life cycle involves dogs and wild canids like coyotes and foxes. It can also connect with livestock. That means ranches, rural communities, home slaughtering, hunting, hiking, and camping can all intersect with risk. The overall risk in the US is low, but low is not zero, and prevention is surprisingly easy. That's why a few smart habits pay off hugely. To understand why it can be so sneaky, let's start with basics. Echinococcus is a tiny tapeworm. In its final host, usually a dog or a wild canid, the adult worm lives in the intestines and sheds microscopic eggs in feces. Those eggs can contaminate soil, water, fur, and food surfaces. When livestock or humans ingest these eggs, we act as intermediate hosts. Inside us, those eggs hatch into larvae that travel through the bloodstream and slowly form fluid-filled cysts, what doctors call hydatid cysts, that expand year after year. If that sounds abstract, picture dust on a windy day in a dry area. Now imagine microscopic eggs mixed into that dust, able to stick to blades of grass, to a pant leg, or to a dog's fur. They're around 30 micrometers, much thinner than a human hair, so you won't see them. If you touch contaminated fur or soil, then touch your lips or grab a sandwich without washing your hands, you can give those eggs a free ride into your body. If you drink untreated water while hiking or camping, or from a ranch well without proper treatment, that's another route. Handling raw offal or undercooked lamb or beef without proper hygiene can also expose you. Even produce washed poorly, especially if it's been in contact with dust, soil, or animals, can be a vehicle. None of this is meant to scare you away from the outdoors or from pets. It's here to help you build habits that let you keep doing what you love safely. Once inside, the story shifts from exposure to stealth. In the small intestine, those eggs release tiny larvae. These larvae slip past immune defenses and enter the bloodstream. From there, they tend to settle where blood flow filters them out, most commonly the liver and the lungs. That's why these organs are the classic sites for hydatid cysts. A significant majority end up in internal organs, and a smaller number can travel to more unusual places like bone or brain. Over time, the cysts can expand by about 1 to 5 centimeters per year. That slow pace is part of the problem. Because the growth is gradual, your body adapts. You may feel nothing at all, no pain, no obvious signs for years, sometimes decades. And that's why people can live full, active lives until a scan for an unrelated reason reveals the honeycomb-like pattern that gives the disease its distinctive look. So, what would you actually notice if something were wrong? Symptoms depend heavily on where the cysts are and how large they've grown. In the liver, many people describe a vague sense of fullness, pressure, or discomfort under the right ribcage. Some experience nausea or changes in appetite. In the lungs, you could notice a persistent cough, chest discomfort, or shortness of breath, especially during exertion. When cysts are very large or in more sensitive places, they can press on nearby structures and cause more obvious problems. Rarely, if cysts involve the brain or bones, symptoms could include headaches, neurological changes, or bone pain. But again, many cases are found by accident.
Someone gets imaging after a minor accident or for an unrelated health check, and doctors spot the telltale cysts. At this point, it's natural to ask, how did doctors confirm what's going on? Diagnosis usually combines imaging with blood tests. On imaging, ultrasound, CT, or MRI, hydatid cysts can show characteristic features that point clinicians in the right direction. Blood tests looking for specific antibodies can support the diagnosis. Once doctors understand where the cysts are and how active they seem, they build a treatment plan that fits the case. And this is where modern medicine has really changed the story compared with decades ago. Today, treatment can range from careful monitoring to medications, needle-based procedures, and surgery. For small, inactive cysts that don't threaten surrounding structures, a watch-and-wait approach with periodic imaging may be appropriate. For many patients, medications like albendazole, used under medical supervision, can help control or kill the parasite. In selected cases, a minimally invasive procedure called PAIR, puncture, aspiration, injection, and reaspiration, can safely manage cysts. And when cysts are very large, complicated, or in risky locations, surgery may be the best option. The key point is this: outcomes today are far better than they used to be, especially when care is timely and tailored.
So where does that leave us, practically, if we live in the US and love our dogs, our hikes, our backyard gardens, and maybe the occasional camping trip? It leaves us with 5 simple habits that dramatically reduce risk while letting you keep doing what you love. First, water safety. On the trail, at camp, or on a ranch, don't drink untreated water. Boil it, filter it with a high-quality filter rated around 0.1 to 0.2 microns, or use a proven purification method. If you're refilling from a stream or lake, treat it every time. Second, meat safety. Cook lamb and beef to safe internal temperatures and avoid raw offal. Keep raw and cooked utensils separate. Use a food thermometer. Guessing is not a strategy. Third, produce safety. Rinse fruits and vegetables under running water and scrub firm produce like apples or cucumbers. Don't rely on a quick dip. Dry produce with a clean towel to remove more microbes. Fourth, pet hygiene. Deworm dogs regularly as your veterinarian advises. Pick up waste promptly and wash hands after handling pets, especially for kids who play on the floor and touch their faces. Fifth, dust and gear control. In dry, windy areas, keep food covered, avoid placing bottles or utensils directly on soil, and clean boots and gear before bringing them indoors. These habits are simple, repeatable, and they protect not just against this parasite, but against a whole collection of outdoor and foodborne risks. Let's connect those habits to real-life scenarios so they stick. If you're a hiker, filling your bottle from a cold mountain stream, think boil or filter. If you're a camper cooking over a fire, think cook to temperature, not to guess. If you're a gardener harvesting lettuce after a windy day, think rinse under running water and spin dry. If you're a dog owner who just came back from the dog park, think wash hands before I grab a snack. If you're cleaning muddy boots in the kitchen, think outside rinse first, then inside. Small choices, repeated often, add up to big protection. Now, you might wonder whether kids and older adults need special consideration. The answer is yes, mainly because kids explore the world with their hands and faces, and older adults can have other medical issues that complicate infections. Teach kids the wash hands before food rule, and make it easy for them to succeed. Keep a step stool by the sink, make soap and towels easy to reach, and turn it into a fun habit rather than a lecture. For older adults, keep food safety tools handy: a countertop thermometer, a reliable water filter, and labeled cutting boards for raw and cooked foods. If you live with pets, put reminders in your calendar for deworming and vet visits. Systems beat willpower. Another practical question: what about travel? If you travel to regions with higher rates of Echinococcus, double down on the same habits. Treat water, eat well-cooked meats, wash produce, and mind dust exposure. Consider choosing bottled or boiled water for brushing teeth, and avoid raw offal dishes. If you're visiting farms or handling animals, wash up thoroughly before eating. The good news is that the exact same habits you use at home carry over seamlessly on the road. Let's talk briefly about myths. Myth 1. I can tell safe water by how clear it looks. Reality, clarity doesn't equal safety. Parasites and microbes can be invisible in crystal clear water. Treat it anyway. Myth 2. Organic or homegrown produce is automatically parasite-free. Reality, soil, dust, and animal contact matter more than labels. Rinse and scrub regardless. Myth 3. My dog is indoor only, so deworming isn't needed. Reality, even indoor dogs go outside, encounter parks, or meet other animals indirectly. Follow your vet's schedule. Myth 4. A quick sear is enough for lamb or beef. Reality, internal temperature is what matters. Use a thermometer to be sure. When we swap myths for simple evidence-based habits, our risk drops dramatically. If you've made it this far, here's the empowering part. Echinococcus is not a reason to fear the outdoors or avoid your favorite activities. It's a reminder to upgrade your routines. Boil or filter water on the trail. Cook to temperature at the grill. Rinse produce under running water in the kitchen. Deworm your dog on schedule. Keep dust off food and clean your gear. With modern medicine and these practical steps, the risk becomes manageable and life stays enjoyable. To make this easy, I've created a one-page checklist called 5 Safe Habits Against Echinococcus. It's designed to print and stick on your fridge or pack in your camping bin. Comment the word checklist and I'll pin the link for you to download. If this video helped you, hit like so YouTube shares it with more families who hike, camp, ranch, or simply love their dogs. And if you have a question or a real-life scenario you want me to cover, drop it in the comments. I'll reply to the first 10 in detail. Stay safe, stay curious, and keep enjoying the outdoors with confidence.